I'm going to prison. What the? 0. Alright. YouTube Studios. And work has been killer. What's going on, chat? How are we doing? We missed you guys last week. We're glad that you're all back with us here again on another episode of the Night's Teleria podcast. Give us just a minute here and we'll be ready to go.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Knights of Teleria podcast. This is episode number 82. We are going to be celebrating a lot of things this week. First of all, we're going to be celebrating 6 years raid, and then we're going to be celebrating all the mythicals you guys pulled. So while we get ready, let us know in the chat, what did you guys pull for mythicals this week? Did you get anything good? Did you get your most wanted? Did you pull a Crixia or a Nias? Let us know. But let's start off with our, I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, streamer 2025. Here he comes, Mr. Final Compatriot. Ken, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Oh man, I am so tired, so busy on these days. Like Raid is keeping us busy with this anniversary stuff. Like not only like as a player I'm busy because we need to prepare for the fusion and there is a 2x primal. I mean, they milk us very well before the anniversary, right? And
They
also
did.
really busy. Huh? Yeah,
They
yeah.
did.
Also, they really keep us busy as a content creator wise. Like today, I record 3 video, and I still didn't finish to edit them. I didn't even got a time to myself today actually on Sunday. We just did like a little bit walking, did some IRL stream, show some chickens on live. PJ actually see them. So yeah, how about you guys? How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing well. Been busy with work. Let's go to my favorite late night streamer. And yes, he graduated from last year. You know, I decided this year he's going to be my favorite late night streamer still. Mr. MXPJ. PJ, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Doing good. Glad to hear that we are back this year. I know last time it was up in the air if it were going to be this year's, but glad to be again. And doing well. Watching UFC yesterday, doing some Marvel Rivals. Sadly, didn't pull any mythicals or anything. Only had 20, so I wasn't really expecting much. But hopefully you guys had some better luck.
Okay. Next up, we got Top 100 Live Arena. Mr. Gestel Gaming. Gestel, what is going on, brother? How were your shard pulls this week?
Sharp pulls were okay. I got that new dwarf guy that nobody knows how to say the name. I'm gonna call him Rad. He looks like a
Whoops.
dwarf. That dude.
This guy?
Yeah.
Ojar
So
Wolfheart.
yeah, Wolfheart. We'll just go with Wolfheart. Yeah, that's
yeah,
easy.
Wolfheart. Okay, we could do that. That's probably smarter. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about him yet. I'm certainly going to build him. I don't have any blessings. Like he's obviously really new. I heard in testing people weren't too thrilled with him. So his first form looks interesting. The second form is where I heard he's meh.
Okay. And last but not least, we've got. I'm going to go with my brother from another mother, Mr. JR Star 3. Jay, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. It's good to be back. You know, I'll take a vacation every other week, but a lot of things have been happening in not only Raid, but just in a lot of things happening behind the scenes in terms of just mobile area as well, new games. And I didn't get to pull any, primal shards. They only had like 3 or 4, so I just been saving them. But I'm definitely gonna wait for the next 2x and pull then.
Okay. Let's take a look at what chat says here. Christopher pulled Lazarus, Alaz, Calamitous, Dupe Feral. Damn. Dupe Estrid from 40 primals. That's crazy. I gotta ask chat. So I pulled some primals. I didn't record a video on my pulls because I wasn't really, I didn't really want to push it because I feel like, we're just a little too much, happy with the shard pulls lately. But I managed to pull a Toshiro.
There you go.
We pulled a
Nice.
Garrel. And
Nice.
then I pulled a dupe Nightwing Crixia. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of upset
Jeez.
that I pulled, where the hell is she? Right here.
Just before the fusion, right?
I'm kind of upset that I pulled a dupe one, and I'm just like, I don't know. Do I +1 her, or do I build her? But chat, what do you guys think? Should I build her? Should I just +1 her? I feel like faction guardians are going to be kind of a thing for mythicals, but overall, I mean, it was like it wasn't bad. The rates weren't bad, I will say. Toshiro was probably one of my most wanted, so I'm glad I got him. Geralt, I don't know. He, I don't know if I want to build this one for anything. I guess I should ask Gessel because you have her, right?
I still run her on a brutal Hydra team just because I don't really feel like rebuilding the team.
Okay.
And she's definitely not nearly as good as she used to be in Hydra, but she's kind of whatever these days.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel. Like I've gotten messed with her a little bit in live arena, but I'm just like, I don't know. But I will say I need blessings for all of them. So maybe 2x primal, 2x soul stones. I might go a little crazy. Let's see. George Morgan says he got 300 shards, got a dupe, Lazorius, and a rooster. Ooh. Hey Ken, did you?
Two?
Did you get anything? Did you use the rooster for anything yet? Did you build him?
Iron Twin. He just have like inventory gear, just crit cap, that's all.
Okay.
I tried him on the live arena and he did like 30,000 damage on the enemies. Like, I'm like, okay. Enemy DPS champion like Narcissus, he was under 4 buff. Like he's supposed to get like 40% increased damage as well from that ability.
Wow.
Then I see like 30,000 damage. I'm like, never touch him again. But some people using him on the Hydra. He's
Okay.
Him and Hydra.
yeah.
I thought about Toshiro in like PvP, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. I think he's, after just like everything I tried with him for Chimera and Hydra, I think he's just a pure just PvE just for those type of dungeons. He's not useful in anything else. Like it's not like he's broken for anything. So I kind of wish that they would balance a lot more of these mythicals a little more, just to make him better for almost every area of the game, right? Let's start off with the first thing this week, which I want to talk about shard pulls. And most of all, I want to talk about the rates that we have with the shards, right? We all know that primals are expensive as all hell. I think it was Bronco that did a video who spent 240 or 250 and didn't get a single mythical. He got a legendary, I think maybe 2, but that only put him a quarter of the way into Mercy. So we're talking a mythical champion could essentially cost you almost $1,000. And if we look at the rates here, they are, I mean, I haven't played a lot of other gacha games, but they're extremely low. I want to ask you guys, chat, what other gacha games have you played where their rates are this low towards pulling a mythical legendary champion? I'm going to start off with our panel. Ken, have you seen other gacha games where their mercy system is this low, like a 1%?
Let's say no, because if I see the game, I have to play 2 years to get the one single champion. I just don't start this game, you know?
Okay.
I just don't start this.
Fair point. It's 2 years to get something is definitely not worth it. PJ, what about you?
The only other gacha I've really played are, I guess, like Honkai and Genshin are kind of like gacha games, but they do it way differently. They have like a banner system and it's a 50-50. If you don't get the champion the first time on the banner, then you're guaranteed the second time, which is pretty nice. But besides that, I'm not super diverse in gachas.
Okay. Gessel, what about yourself?
Yeah, I've unfortunately played a lot of gacha games. I don't know, unfortunately. I actually kind of like them, but this is the only one that I've actually put like money into. The other ones I kind of would just jump into to support whatever streamer or YouTuber was pitching the game. I'd check it out, run through whatever level you kind of needed to get to, and then kind of be done with it. So I've played a lot of those, but those were like I can't even think of some of the names right now, like weird ones.
Ace.
But Yeah, I was gonna say Ace is probably the closest in terms of like shard pulling to Raid. And they had a like a I can't remember the class, but it was like a dark and light. Like a dark and light class. And I'm pretty sure those guys were like a 0.5% chance to pull them. So basically a mythical percent chance. I may be wrong. It might have been 1%, but it was really low. Now, that all being said, I didn't spend any money on that game, and I had two of those characters. So
Wow.
they had those rates boosted because I had two of them.
Wow.
Or it was just broken, but I haven't
Uh,
played it. I haven't played it in like a year and a half.
okay. Jay, I know you've played a lot of other gotcha games, so what's your experience been with the shard system, with the mercy system?
So, you know, typical most games have banner systems. They have kind of like some of them are a little bit more larger range. You're gonna see from like 70 to like let's say 120, kind of like when Raid does like a guaranteed um champion, like for like ancients or something. You're gonna see numbers like that. Of course, if you don't hit it, you can gamble for the 50-50. If you get it, you get the character, and if you don't, you might get a copy of someone else, and then you can try again, and you'll guaranteed that character on that banner after you try one more time. So if you're looking at in total, right? Let's say you go super max. If it's like let's say 80 per, that's 160 pulls, right? Raids is like around 200. You start getting to Mert, you get like extra addition, and then at 220 is guaranteed. So even if you go all the way horrible on those other games, 160 versus let's say 200 on average of Raid, it's still a difference of 40. So
Right.
Raid is a little bit more aggressive in terms of how much more you need. Now, honestly, though, you get free ancient shards from market, from farming dungeons, from clan boss. So there's that alleviation versus these other games. They don't really give you that. They give you a resource like gems that you can use, but it's all funneled into one resource, like a gems or some special thing, right? That each game has. So that's the only difference between Raid. It splits everything. You can like manage a little bit more, but that requires a lot more knowledge and more discipline from the player. Because if you just start pulling like crazy, you're gonna have nothing in Raid, and then you get screwed because we know Raid has summon events and champion chase that are very important. Those games don't have that. You can pull anytime, any day. It could be at the beginning of the banner, it could be at the last day of the banner. You'll still have a chance to get that character. Versus Raid, everything is like tied into a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a special like 2x, maybe one day or 10 or progressive, right? So I will say that overall, the other games are a little bit more lenient because Raid has a lot of champions as well, and there's a lot of RNG. But it all just depends on your pick your poison because Raid only has +4. Those other games have plus like 6, right? So you have to get a lot more copies, but it's a lot cheaper.
So I guess
Can I
I'm
say
gonna
something
go
real
ahead.
quickly for the
Yep.
Jay? I mean, if you're talking about specifically for the mythical, I disagree with you because rate doesn't give us anything for the mythical. Like
Right.
if you're talking about like not spending money, you can get one primal per month by the daily login, which is you need to be end game for that.
Right.
And again, you can get 4 more from live arena, which is you need to do your fights for that, which is so 5 guarantee primal shard we're talking about. Yeah. And from my calculation, you guys can calculate yourself as well. It's going to take you almost 2 years to trigger your mercy, like almost 2 years. The other games, like I actively playing ZZZ right now, Zenless Zero. It's basically like Genshin Impact Honkai Star game. And I can get every single banner right now on the game without spending stuff. But yes, you need to do your mission stuff like that when they do the event. Well, on the raid, you also need to do them, right? Hey, if you get unlucky on the first banner, which is 50-50, so there's a 50% chance you can get random champion or 50% chance you can get this special champion. Then you need to open, what was the mercy there? 130, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Which is you can save your gems for that. You can convert to the ticket. So in general, I would like to say other games are better, especially like if you're talking like Watcher of Ram. Man, Watcher of Ram, I can do anything. I'm not even playing the game that actively. I'm just
Watcher of
Okay,
Realms is
double-
actually one of the ones that I played, and I think the way that they have, their Mercy design, plus with the whole, trading in your like rares for gems and stuff, I think that's
and background
perfect.
fight actually. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
you guys want? We are going to talk about background fight right now in the raid. You are doing background fight in the raid. You cannot do anything. You just can open
Right.
your shard.
Right.
I hope that's a joke. I hope they can improve it because like I actually make a video about that. I showed the Watcher of Realm. You are doing background fight. Then what you want to do? Like arena, clan boss, guild
Yeah.
boss, whatever you called it. Another dungeon, faction war. You can do anything you want. In the raid, I'm doing background fight is active. I want to do live arena. I cannot. I want to do classic arena. I can't. I want to attack Cursed. I can't. Doom Tower. I can't. It's show you warning. Background fight working on the background. What I'm gonna do then? Oh, shard opening. That's what you can do. Open your shard. That was the
Yeah.
only
Ear
complaint
cleanse.
about the game, right? I wasn't
Yeah.
having time to open my shard. Now, thankfully, we can open the shard.
Right. We will touch up on that in a little bit, but I really want to focus on this just because I feel like the Mercy system here, the way that this is again designed, is very predatory. It's it's very demoralizing because you, as Ken stated, you can pull your primals and it could take you 2 years to get a
Almost.
single mythical champion.
Bro,
And
Remnant is even worse, man. Can you check the Remnant shard Mercy, by the way?
which one?
Like,
The
look at
Remnant?
that. Remnant shard. Yeah, Remnant shard.
The
Click the
Remnant shards are 20.
Click the Remnant. Yeah. 20 means if you 100% clear the curse,
Oh no,
you can get 2.
Remnants is I think
24.
24, yeah. So 2 years
So
for that.
each month you can get 2 of them. And after 2 years, it's increasing by 1%. It's like 7 years, something like that. Like, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Like,
I will
what
say.
are we doing, man? And this is like mythical champion. They said they are going to release Void mythical. What, 10 years?
Probably. I mean,
They lose their mind, man. I'm telling you.
I will say that with the remnants, I've gotten 3 legendaries. So I've gotten my Nias, Floney, and Alas. So I don't know. Maybe it's just really
I mean,
lucky.
it's RNG.
Yeah, you got
good
If you're
RNG, bro. I
unlucky,
have still got
I
nothing.
still didn't get any.
I've
Yeah,
had
I
nothing
still
but
didn't get any.
epics.
But yeah, I agree. I get you. But back to the rates here, I feel like we need to have a discussion here. And we need to be. I don't want to say whining and complaining, but I think we need to give them a solid solution on how to fix this. Now, I'm more of, what? There are champions out there that are going to help accounts, right? Champions like Sun Wukong, right? He was a free champion that we all got. A lot of the players can't get him anymore. You have other champions in the game that would be really helpful for a lot of the player base. So I feel like 200, if this is where they're going to keep the Mercy, I think we need to add a secondary way of acquiring a legendary champion that can be built up to it. Now, it could reset monthly. It could reset quarterly. It really depends on, how heavy they're going to go with shards. Ken, since you're free to play, how much or how many shards would you say you get for ancient, sacreds, and voids per month?
I'm not sure about Ancient, but Void Mercy usually took me 6-7 months to trigger.
6-7 months.
So
Okay.
it's like 220, right?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ancient, let's say each month maybe 30, I think, maybe 40, something like
Okay.
that, I believe. Yeah.
Um,
Primal is, I don't know, like 5 maybe 6 each month.
Okay.
Probably 5, let's say 5. But it
Um,
also depends, like, sometimes they are putting quartz on the tournament, like number
Right,
1,
right.
number 2. Obviously, you cannot do them as a free to play. I mean, you can maybe do 1, 2, but you cannot collect all of them. So
yeah, I think it was from the last 2x, I think I had saved up like almost 20 and that was not purchasing. That was just doing the events and stuff and Hydra. But what about sacreds? How many sacreds would you say? I mean, I know we get the ones from Doom Tower, so that's like what, 2 there plus 1 from gold tier 3v3, which again, not everybody is able to get into. But what would you say is a fair estimate of what you get a month?
I think just from Clumbos, you are getting around like 7-10 each
Okay.
month just from Clumbos. So from the other game activities, let's say Takdim Arena has 1 monthly, and monthly quest has 1, right? Monthly quest has 1, yeah, and 2 there. Let's say like 10, 12.
Okay.
Depends on
let's
the
go.
range, of course.
Let's go with 10. Let's go with 10.
I mean, I'm
Uh,
okay with the other chart. By the way, I'm totally fine with that. You know, like 7 months for the Void Mythical, maybe a little bit too high. But other chart, I'm totally fine. Game actually given us decent amount of them. Look, they stopped releasing a content for after very long time. That doesn't give us chart. Like for example, Doom Tower, we are getting decent amount of chart there, right? Kirsty doesn't have a single chart, bro.
Curse City
Siege doesn't have
is
chart.
more for the
What?
Curse City Souls. Yeah, sorry. Curse City is more based for Souls. That's what they wanted that to be.
What
so
I don't
like the Soul Stones,
The
the Soul
blessings.
Stones, the blessings. Because you
I mean,
get
they're just-
roughly about 10 between completing normal and hard of the lesser ones. I think it is. You get
I mean, Mortal, you mean? Mortal Soulstone.
yeah. So you get about 10 for
I mean-
completing Mortal. I think it's like 3 Immortals, and then it's like 1.5 of the Eternals for completing everything,
Okay.
both normal
Okay.
and hard.
What they release after Chimera? Where is Primal, bro?
Well, that's
Like
the
where
thing.
we can get a Primal, bro?
That's the thing is we do need something for primals. But
They
again,
need to
It
give us
should have
more
been
options.
Chimera. Chimera
It-
should have given primals. So ridiculous.
that is
Ultra
true.
Nightmare difficult at this man.
Well, they figured that Chimera is going to be just strictly for relics. I agree. I think they were trying to
Doesn't give
push.
the relics, bro. Like we are getting 2-star basalt. Like, can you please check the like relics crafting system over there? Like, can you please go like your relics and upgrade? Hit the upgrade button.
Yeah,
No, your relics. Upgrade button. Upgrade right. There is a 5-star basalt over there at the top. Where is that, bro?
so
Where
that
is
one's gonna come.
four-star,
That
bro?
one's that's gonna
Like
come
what?
in the
Ultra
clan
super
shop.
uber difficulty? Nightmare? Chimera?
This is all gonna be acquired when
Yeah, it's
live
gonna be
arena
number
seasons
1
come out.
tournament. I'm telling you, number
Yeah.
1 tournament.
Most likely. But I thought long and hard about this, and what I feel would be best for, just encouraging people to be able to pull their shards, because let's face it, Raid is masters of FOMO. I think this portal glows almost every single day other than like Mondays. It feels like Monday, it's just like, you know what? We've worked 6 days throughout the week. We've done 200 hours. We need a break. We're not getting paid overtime. So Mondays we're going to take off. But with that in mind, I mean, I feel like we have to have something else. And so I'm a big fan of saying, you know what? Let's do a guarantee for however many, we get. So I think for Ancients, the mercy for 200 I think is too high, because there's a lot of accounts just doing clan boss, like on one of my alt accounts. It will take me close to 3-4 months of just doing clan boss every single day to get 200 Ancients. Voids, I don't know how Ken is able to acquire 200, but again, just doing clan boss on it, I think one of my accounts is sitting at like 42 and everything else is sitting below that, right? Unless I'm buying them. As for primals, I think the rate's horrible. Unfortunately though, like we get trapped with this because mythicals are the biggest game changer for our accounts. And then sacreds, I mean, I've done 27 sacreds and I've now pulled, 33 sacreds is my max, and I've not pulled a single legendary. So with that said, let me ask you guys, should they bring down the Mercy? And if so, to where would you want to see it? Chat, let me know what you guys think, starting from, let's say, Primals and Sacreds. PJ, I'm going to start off with you. Where do you think Mercy should be for most of these, for Ancients, Void, Sacreds, Primals?
Tough question. I mean, to be honest, this game is like the hard version of this genre. So I think we have to kind of go into this knowing that like it's like difficult. Like you have to be very smart with your resources. You can't just use them whenever you want. If you want to go for fusions and you're like a free to play, you got to be smart. So with that being said, maybe I mean I don't think it's that bad. They could give us a little bit more shards just in general so the mercy doesn't feel as bad. But I mean, you're getting a lot of ancients as an endgame player. Like you have like almost too many, not too many, but like they're just kind of there. You don't really need them as much. It's really about like the primals, sacreds, voids.
I'm not gonna. I agree with you there. I feel like Ancients are kind of like mystery shards at this point for endgame players. Like I really only pull them during 2Xs. Like the rest of the time, it's just I look at it as like a chicken, a 3-star chicken.
Yeah. So I guess it's more of like an issue of like earlier accounts and like new players. So maybe like I know back like last year there was like a thing where like during the Hell Hades thing where like people were pulling hella Legos early on. So maybe if there was like a better way of getting like a guaranteed Lego early on to get people engaged and be like, oh, I got a Lego within the first 100 or something. Now I can use this to keep going. Like getting people Legos early on gets them to continue playing the game. So maybe something like that, a better guaranteed way of getting it early.
So I do know that for brand new accounts, what they do is the previous the previous fusion that was just completed will cost you 15 sacreds to get it. Because I did one for a video on the Supreme Gaelic, and it was 15 sacreds to get yourself the Mad Hatter. I mean, I think that's a little too much, especially early on, because again, we're talking 15 sacreds is what, 200, almost $400, right? If I'm not mistaken, because at $25 a shard, that's a steep price. But I think maybe if they did it like over a month, that would be a little more reasonable. Gessel, what about you? Do you think the mercy rates should be changed?
I'm fine with mercy rates on ancients. I'm fine with I think they're probably pretty good on Void too. They're supposed to be and for the most part most Void legendary champs are kind of pinnacle, until mythicals came along. But even still, some are Marius. Marius is probably the best champ in the game. Sacreds I've kind of always had an issue with. I feel like 2% after hitting mercy is kind of ridiculous. I think you can go up to like 56 or something until it's guaranteed. That seems like insane. Obviously, it's the odds that you get to that high is kind of ridiculous, but the fact that that is the number seems absurd. So I've kind of always had an issue with that. I think they could probably fix that. I'm not necessarily sure what the number would be. Maybe make it, instead of 2, make it 10 or something. You got to pull. What would that make the number? You got to pull 30 or something, 25. Like I think that's probably a better number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then someone I saw posted in chat about the remnants. That's absurd too. Like I feel like I'll never get one from remnant. Someone had said, just make it like 24 and then you pull it. So like basically every 2 years you get it guaranteed from remnants. I think that's probably fair.
Okay.
One I do have is
Prism.
Sorry, prisms are really the fact that they don't carry over is bullshit.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Prisms
Impossible.
are in a whole league of their own, especially with the pool that we got this week. I wanted to go for the dwarf, and I was like, you know what? Nah, because it's gonna be like 10 grand if I'm unlucky. It's gonna cost me like 4 or 5 grand to pull that one guy, and all I'm gonna get is a whole bunch of other shitty, crappy +4 epics that I'll never use, or a +4 Molly. But yeah, that summoning pool, chat, maybe you guys will disagree with me, but I think that summoning pool was not the best of the dwarves. There was no Trunda, there was no Gina. It was an absolute disaster. But I don't know. I know Sus pulled the banner champ. But yeah.
That's cool.
What about primals? What do you think primals should stick at?
Me?
Yeah, sorry, 'cause you didn't answer on primals. You
Oh
answered for
yeah,
boys.
sorry, yeah. So primals. Here's the thing with primals, right? And I feel like that's what we've like. I think there's an underlining issue with primals. They want it to be high right now because they don't have that many of them.
Mhm.
They didn't release enough of them at the beginning of the game, frankly, or when they did the release. Because they released 2, 3, 4 that are like crazy OP, and they still are. Galather. That like people have +4 of these guys, and then in the next year or two, when the mythical market's a bit more flooded, people are gonna have these crazy +4s of like mythical champs. That's insane, right? And then it's gonna be impossible to get these guys now. So I think they've inflated that number, I think, just because they don't have the champions for it yet. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Maybe they want to make it really hard. I really felt like Chimera was going to be our way to start farming these up to make it a little more accessible, because it is ridiculous. I mean, my free to play, like I pulled 12 the other day. That's what I got in whatever since the last 2x. Like I never pull primals on that account. I'm never gonna get a mythical. I don't play that account like a quarter is. I don't play that account at a 20th as hard as like Kampachi plays it, right? Like I do the kind of bare minimum to just maintain it. But still, like I'll probably never get a mythical. I have Mikage though. Mikage runs that account.
I think Mikage runs any account, and I think that I think that was a good champion.
It's a
for
great
them to
one. I think
give
about that all the
out.
time. Like it's just a great all around champ. I use her everywhere, like
Right.
PvP, PvE, everything. She's so good.
I agree with you that the release of the primals or the mythical champions, we just don't have enough. And maybe I do hope that as we get more champions released, that the rates will be better. But I guess my bigger issue is that if we just think about this logically on how much a mythical champion is worth to them at Mercy, you're talking over $1,000. That's just insane to think about. You could spend that much money and not get a single mythical champion. And then if you get a single mythical champion, you'll be like Ken and get the cock. So with that, I'm going to let Ken go and say what he thinks about the Mercy rates and where should they change to.
Yeah, bro, like you are asking me like very hot said like I can talk that like 24 hour, like you are pushing me. That's my weakness, All right. Okay, let's start there. First of all, Gestal said like I'm not playing like a Ken. Well, don't worry, Gestal, because doesn't matter if you play the game that long. I mean, every single day, the game doesn't give you anything. That's the thing. Another thing, you know what? I am totally fine with the Mercy.
Okay.
Every single one of them. All right. But whenever I spend my 2 years to trigger my Mercy, you have to give me something good, bro. Not the cock. Okay. This is your responsibility. All right. Bring your developer team. I think there is only one person working on you. Buff the champion. Buff the champion. Like, look, I got lucky. Like I got Giz,
I-
my bad. I get
let
a
me
cock.
stop
After
you
that,
there
I
real
get a
quick.
Calamitus.
The cock was really good, and then we can thank who was it? Scratch for the nerf, because I don't know if you saw that video that came out. He was hitting for like stupid amounts on Clan Boss and Hydra,
I mean,
and they
it
nerfed
was
it.
bug. It was
Yeah,
bug.
I
So
know, I know.
yeah. Yeah, I pulled. Yeah, I got lucky. My third mythical was the Gizmak, and I got him on the fresh Mercy. But like not everybody lucky like me. Like I see lots of people, hey bro, I pulled that, I pulled that. My clanmate, for example, Andrew, I think he got his first mythical after like 1 year from Primal Shard, Mikage, Dupe Mikage, and after that, fresh Mercy he got a Mesomal. 2 days ago, this Friday, he pulled another Mesomal. Like
Uh,
like.
it was Being Useless, who's one of the mods in Twitch and YouTube. He went into Mercy, and his very first mythical pulled was a dupe Lady Mikage. And he
Yeah.
was just like, luckily, I have access to his account, but he's like, dude, I'm going to go feed everything. I'm going to delete my account. So I was fighting with him, logging in so he wouldn't do something
Exactly.
stupid. Because he was just like, I'm so pissed. This game is absolutely. But then, you'll go into chat and you'll see like mythical after mythical after mythical for the same person. It's like, what the hell?
Exactly, bro. Like people like that can be quit the game because of these things, because there is lots of terrible champion in the game. You are spending lots of time. Let's say you are not spending money, you are free to play. You are spending lots of time, and after that, you don't want to see that, bro. Like same for the Void Mythical, same for like normal legendary champion. Not Void Mythical, I mean Void Legendary champion. And even same for the Mythical. Why there is a bad Mythical champion? Like why?
Well,
Like how is that possible?
there's a bad mythical now, but I guess to Plarium's credit, we don't know what content they're going to be releasing and what it
Come
might
on,
be
man.
used
Like,
for.
come on. No. Like,
He's like, no. We're not. No. I'm not letting this go.
you are copium right now, bro. In the future, then like how many years we are gonna play this game? Come on, I don't have that much time. Like, if I pull something, I'm gonna play today, bro. I'm not gonna wait for the future. There's super copium there, like.
Don't hold your
Like,
breath,
and there is
Blazing.
no champion. Like, there we go. There is a siege. There is no bad champion in the game. There is a siege.
Exactly.
Faction
See?
Wars, baby.
See? Well, we got Faction Wars 2.0 that is going to be coming soon.
I don't think we need a mythical there.
Listen, as for how long we're going to be playing this game, honestly, I hope for years. I hope it's as
I mean,
good as
MTG
World of Warcraft
soon.
was. Exactly.
The transition.
21 days, 22 days till MTG takes over.
The
Yeah,
Satyrs.
but the logic is like, if they are not gonna buff their champion, which is they are not showing me any how to say that. Anyway, they are going that direction, I mean. So then Mercy engine chart is okay. Like maybe early game it's hard, guys, but end game we are getting decent amount of the engine chart. Same for the Void. Let's say same for the Void. 6 months, 7 months end game perspective, not super terrible. I can live with that. Secret Mercy can be a little bit lower, maybe 30, 35, like Gestan mentioned. But Primal Mercy, because we are not getting too much Primal, either they need to give us more content or they can buff the existence content. It's possible. They are not like untouchable. They can put Primal Shard on the Takdim Arena Bazaar. But we all know they are going to put that on the Clan Shop level 50, right?
Level 50.
Yeah.
You know that the game's going to go on for a while because you know that Clan Shop's going to go up to level 50.
You guys lucky, man. You guys have a child, bro. I don't have anybody. So they can continue your generation, your raid account.
Oh, man. Well, I think that
Anyway.
might be against the TOS if I give my account to my kid. Actually,
Don't tell
wait a
them.
minute. I'm the only one that has a kid here. None of you guys have kids.
Already?
None of you
No,
guys have
Gestan Levin.
kids.
Oh, I thought Gestan Levin.
No, I'm the only
dog.
dad here. That's why I get the bad dad jokes.
Oh, okay, I got you. So Primal
Zero
Mercy,
as a
let's-
kid.
Zero. That's
Yeah.
zero's
Zero.
two kids.
Zero, yeah. Let's drop that half 1 year.
Okay. Let's go to Jay. I know I didn't forget you, bro. I didn't forget you. I was gonna add on something else, but go ahead. What do you think the rates should be for the Mercy?
I'll say the rates, and then I'll give my thoughts on what Plarium should do. That I think that would be really good after experiencing their progressive scam multiple times. So the first one I'll go with is going to be Ancient Shards. I kind of look at what they've been doing with the guaranteed, like I was saying earlier, guaranteed champions. We kind of see what Plarium likes to put it at, right? Like 150 to 180. Why would they put that there if Mercy's like usually 220, right?
Great, that's a good
guaranteed. Like, so I would say, like you were saying earlier, Blazing, like, yeah, Legos or, epics, extra epics is like cool. Yeah, you can faction guardians plus for your epics, but like it's ancients are not that much value. So if they were to drop it to like 150 where Mercy starts to go up and then like 180's the cap and you're guaranteed, I think that would be better in 2025. Voids, we've seen it go all the way from 180 to 200. So I think that's a good number, right? 180 could be where Mercy starts and 200 guaranteed for voids. Not that much reduction, only 20 reduced, right? In terms of primal, man, primal's way too high. Like that's insane. Especially when we can get rares. Imagine spending hundreds of dollars to get rare. It's just nuts. In my opinion. For that, I'll just get ancients. But I would say it should be higher than ancients, but not that high. So maybe like somewhere in between like 170, 180. Kind of close to like voids. But that's up to them in terms of their analytics. In terms of sacreds, yeah, like Gusto was saying, insanity. Like, who's gonna pull 40 and get all epics? That's just nuts. And they charge like $20 a sacred. So I would say drop that down. Right? We've seen Deca fails. We've seen other stuff where they do Hero's Path, where it's around 20 to 25 sacreds for a champion, right? Guaranteed. So I think that would be perfectly fine. Like, wouldn't 20 sacreds be enough, just enough where you could be like, all right, cool, I'm guaranteed a character. And it's still only a legendary. It's not a void. It's not a mythical. It's just a regular Lego. So why is sacred so insanely high? I think that'd be good by implementing these numbers in Raid in 2025. If we were talking back then, that's different. But we have a totally different dynamic in the game now in terms of how many champions are in the game and how many of them are not at the level that they should be. Like Final Capacho was saying, buffs.
Well, you
in
could,
terms
you
of
could
number
also
2,
just summon those 20 sacreds and get yourself a Opardon. So I think we also need to have a discussion on the tiered champions on what we also need to get. But continue. I'm sorry.
well, that's Plarium's game balance. They're trying to keep up, right? Like Opardon just got buffed, but he's still kind of like he's good, but he's not as good as he should be. Yeah. The number 2, what I think they should do is other games. They have a lot of summoning systems, like let's say Raid. We have to summon a lot. Most games give you a resource back. Like let's say, like you said, right? You pull 20 sacreds. Oh my gosh, I got to open it. I already have a +3. Now I'm gonna +4 him, or do I just sack him into that shop to get more chance to get on a different Lego? Well, most other games basically have, as you pull copies, because most of us all have every single epic or close to every epic, right? They don't give you no resource for getting a rare. But if you get copy, like let's say I have a Geomancer, and I get another Geomancer. Of course, in Raid you could +4 it. What if I don't want to plus my Geo and I just want to have one Geo and I'm okay with not +4ing? Why the other games give you a resource for getting a copy? It's like, okay, well you can't do anything else with this because you can't unless you're gonna build 2 Geos. That's the one thing about Raid, other than other games. When you have one character, it's just one character. That's it. Raid allows you to build them in other teams, so I understand why the dynamic in Raid is different than most games. You just have one character, that's it. You got a copy, they give you a resource, because they're like, you can't do nothing with this copy, here's a resource if you don't want to plus it, right? I think that would be an option if they gave us to that, and what we could do is take those as fragments, and when you kind of like, we have fragments summoned by doing events, instead of it just like, well, this is happening at this time, you can go for this fragment summon. Imagine if it was like, you build up fragments, and you can choose what champion you wanted. So it kind of incentivized with their system of pulling shards. So you go through for a progressive, you go crazy, you 25x a Duchess and try to keep getting that 25x Duchess, which I've tried, and Siphi, and it just doesn't work. I get other champions, I get other epics. I think I went one for Phoenix, and I went like crazy. I only got one Phoenix, and I had 25x. I pulled like 20 or 30 different epics, and only one of them were Phoenix at 25x. I was like, what is this? This is crazy. It's a scam. So I was just like, no. I think that would be way better to do that. You know, you can choose. Now, this is not choosing mythicals. This is only just for Legos, right? Non-void Legos. Because I think that'd be way better to actually get a champion. What if like an account doesn't have Trunda? Or me, I don't have a Lady Kimmy because I didn't want to spend $100+ when Lady Kimmy was guaranteed. I could have definitely got her, but I had to break the bank to do it, and I didn't want to. To this
Well,
day, I still don't have Lady Kimmy.
Let me
And
touch up on that.
It's
Let me touch up on that. What if we had a, you know, throughout the month, and I think that chat, I think you guys would be on board with this, but throughout the month, we would get a guaranteed champion on top of everything else we already pull based on the Mercy. So basically, we would get, you know, every month, if you pulled 200 Ancients, you would get a particular guaranteed champion throughout that month. It gives, you know, everybody a chance to get it. And then if somebody gets close, I feel like, you know, if I'm like 160 and it's let's say a Lady Kimmy, okay? And you need Lady Kimmy and you're 160, you'd be a little more enticed to spend that extra money for those 40 sacred, 40 ancients to get that champion, right? Same thing for voids. Let's say at voids, you know, you pull 200 voids throughout the month, or maybe voids should be, you know, maybe close to like 100. But I think if there was a guaranteed champion that you could build up to throughout the month, I think that would increase spending, right? It'd be a little less predatory, and you'd feel like you're getting a little more value. Is that something you guys would see? So let's say, I would say Ancients we keep at 200, Voids would be at 100, Primals I think at 100 you should definitely be getting one, and then Sacreds I think, you know, at maximum 15 you should be getting one. So would you guys be, you know, would you go back to Plarium and say, listen, we like this is something that should be implemented, and you know, this could urge me to, you know, barring Final Campacha here, who is free to play, this could urge me to spend a little extra coin every month. Let's start with Jay first.
definitely. That's kind of like some other games have something similar to that. You know, we don't have a banner system. So that's incentivizing, hey, like you're doing this and you're getting this in the process, right? Like if you have the clan shop, or by doing clan quests, you can also get yourself a champion and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, because then also you have to, every month, right? You might be doing like a fusion or fragment summon, but you also have to be thinking, what is this month's quotations guaranteed champion? And right, it's going to keep people logged in. It's going to keep people summoning. And that's what you want, right? From your players, normally not wanting to like quit and be like, oh, I don't want to play. You might be like, whoa, this month is finally the character that I've been waiting for, right? And it's like, I've been saving up. I can finally get that character guaranteed. And along the way, I might still get something else along the way. So you're like double dipping your shards and you're still getting more on top of what you wanted. I think that's amazing, actually. The question is, what's the number?
Well, like I said, I think half of what the current Mercy is, I think should be it. You know, because then getting to Mercy should trigger, you know, your other champion. I feel like that's, and Sacreds, I know Mercy starts at 12. So, you know, 15 is a little higher, but I think 15 for a guaranteed, because you're guaranteed to get something between now and then. And they don't have to do, like, I wouldn't say, okay, every month we get one Void, one Ancient, one Primal, one Mythical, one Sacred guaranteed. They could alternate them, right? But it should be done throughout the month. That way it gives the player base something a little bit extra. And it doesn't need to be a broken champion, because, you know, a lot of us could use if you got yourself a Rush God the Tower, you know, if you've been playing for 6-7 months and you all of a sudden got a Rush God the Tower, well, now you got an Iron Twins team, you know, and that would be beneficial for a lot of accounts. So, Gestel, what about you? What do you think? Would a guaranteed champion throughout the month be beneficial, or would you want to see something like that?
Like a like a guaranteed champ, in a sense, like they kind of take like an old champ and it's like a login reward.
Well, not a login reward, but like, let's say you know, throughout the month you're pulling 100 ancients, at hitting 100
Oh,
ancients.
so it's
like,
part of your shard
yeah,
pulling.
yeah, part of your as an extra boosted champion. If they're not going to increase the
Is
rates,
it something you can pick, or is it just gonna be a random like
I
monthly
would
one?
say random, because Plarium's not going to let us pick, because everybody then would just be picking terraces and pulling back to back to back.
Yeah.
know,
Well,
for
I was thinking
voids.
maybe they have like kind of what they do now, where you
I
can
mean,
select from
they
maybe
could
3 or 4 or something.
they could do a pool like that. Like, I actually, that's not a bad idea. They could do a pool, since how they do like the 25x, and give us like, hey, these 4 champions, you can get one of them as a guarantee for 100 shards and work your way up through it for the month. I kind of like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I would say that's all positive. I think it would certainly not make you feel like say you pull 100 and whatever. Say you pull 200 ancients and don't hit Lego, right? 150 ancients. Obviously, 220 is when you're gonna hit it, but let's just say that's what happens. At least you're getting something guaranteed there. I would say that's definitely positive. I would say also, if it's someone that would be game changing, like a Helicath or something like that, we're really helping an account out, especially early. That would certainly incentivize people to want to pull that month. So yeah, I always see good. I wonder how you would manage it though, like between the different shards, right? Like
Well, so
with
each month, this month it will be ancients, and this month you can
oh,
have
it's tied to a specific one. Okay.
yeah. So this month it'll be ancients. If you pull 100 ancients, you can get
That would
either
work.
a Ragash, a Helicath, whatever. And I like the point that Rosaria is pointing out right now. This kind of mercies, or this kind of system in the game, would eliminate a lot of the hoarding on the shards, because, and I'm going to ask Ken next, if there's a champion you want, would you be enticed to pull? Chat, what do you guys think? Ken, what do you think? Would a guaranteed every month that you work up to would entice you to burn a lot more of your shards?
I mean, guarantee each month doesn't mean that champion worth to pull. Like if this champion is worth to pull, yeah, it can be.
I think it could build faction guardians, right? Which is, we all know, key. Well,
Not
10
worth
speed
it.
is
Not worth.
not worth.
Not
Okay.
worth it. Not worth it. Bro, getting resources not that easy. But I sent a couple of the picture actually. Jay is mentioned earlier about the when you get something bad, you can exchange them, right? And this picture from the Watcher of Ram, maybe you can show that. So this first picture, guys, you just close.
Yep.
There you go.
Sorry.
So you can sacrifice your epic and the legendary champion and get some resources there. And as you can see, the second picture especially, there we go, like max level book. So this is like maximum level book and only require 200 gold coin, right? Sacrificing one Lego give you 100. So 2 of them, you can get max level books. You can use it whatever you want. This engine summon over there. So sacrificing one Lego going to give you 2 engine summon, which is like void shard, I believe, for this game. There is no primal on this game. So, and the third picture is
This
sacrifice
is my
a rare
favorite.
champion. Yeah, sacrifice a rare champion give you gem, guys.
Yep.
So looks like each of them give what 30, 60, 90. Yeah, 30 gem. And I believe each ancient shard, ancient mean blue shard, by the way, posting 160 maybe. No, it's like 120. I really don't remember right now, but basically like for rare champion, you are going to open one single shard, which is like what you're doing with your rare champion on the raid.
Right.
Or the epic or the Lego.
Well, Raid's pretty much told us that our rare champions are just there for chickens. That's it. They're just there for team training.
Okay, what about epic and the legendary? There is a token trader. Even God forget that existence.
Yeah.
Like, why we are waiting 6 months to refill, bro? Like, why? Are we gonna live forever? Like, am I missing something, bro? We are not gonna die.
Well, aren't you a proponent that
Matrix?
says you know this is going to encourage you to have kids and pass your account to your kids, Ken? Come
All
on.
right. Fair enough.
But let's get to PJ. PJ, what are your thoughts, man, on a guaranteed throughout the month? Would that be something that would entice you a little bit more?
It's yes and no. So kind of like what Ken mentioned, I have a kind of a similar mindset. It really depends on what champion they're putting in there, especially as like a late game end game player. I overall like the idea of having a guaranteed champion. But to entice me to pull, it'd have to be like specific champions that I really are looking for, really want. And knowing Palladium, they're gonna put in champions that are not that good or kind of average. So most late end game players aren't gonna really need them or want them to, unless it's like for Faction Guardian, which you mentioned. But most people, unless you're like a big spender, probably aren't see that as worth it. I think overall it would be it's a good idea to have a guaranteed like every month or so in the game. I do like that, but
I just
it
don't
just
like
depends on who they
what
put
they
in
do.
it.
It's yeah, I just don't like it's a guaranteed for those 3 days and that's it. Because it's like,
Right.
well, you know what? You're doing this guaranteed. I'm not in the
It's like
situation
you have the shards
where,
or you don't.
right. And if you don't have the shards, it's like you really want this champion, but look, I can't do it because I don't get paid till next week, and I would pull him on next week because I want that guaranteed champion. So I feel like, again, Rosaria brought out a great point saying that it will eliminate a lot of people from hoarding their shards. And I think overall it would increase the spending and give you a little more value or make you feel like you're getting a little more value out of your shards, right? Because at least you know you're working up to something. So I hope that with MTG coming in and taking over, I know they're more of a game design company, so maybe, fingers crossed, we can get some of these changes towards the shard system. The number
Armand's
one, Armand. Hey, listen, we're at 6 years raid, 6 year anniversary. Maybe this will be the Armand's counter.
No, it's not.
Oh, I have another thing to mention.
Go ahead.
I kind of saw someone in chat say this, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Like the only way of getting mod right now, which I understand is from fragments from like fusion and stuff, but it'd be like I do every fusion, so like my chance of getting mod, I have like 9 fragments of mod. So if I could use like dupe epics or dupe rares that I pull from shards and put into mod, that'd be kind of nice to give me a chance, or like a legendary. I wouldn't do legendaries, but like epics at least, like dupe epics, if I could put into mod, would be nice. So I could have like a chance of getting her. Or
There
like
we
other people
go.
who have a chance of getting her if you do
15.
fusions.
I just gave up 15 fragments from Esme
Beautiful.
to get, a 4-star chicken. I'm
Don't forget
sitting
those
at like
brews.
yeah, I'm sitting at 70. I think I've only seen 1 or 2 people that have had mod, which is
Yeah.
kind of
But I
crazy.
think that would be cool if you could use epics as like fragments for her, like exchange them. That'd be nice.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
not that great, to be honest.
I don't know.
She's decent, but it would just be like
Decent, but when we got her, like
that's what I'm saying.
when
If it's
we got
easier to
her-
get her, it would be
Yeah.
nice.
Well, I think, looking at her, a lot of us look at these champions and they say, well, they're absolute trash for our accounts.
Bro, you're
But
probably going to pull mythical champion before getting this lady. Like it's even worse
Yeah.
than mythical.
so you
Mercy,
think
actually.
you can get her within 2 years?
I'm
Or
never
after
gonna
2
get her.
years?
I don't
more
think.
than more than that?
More
I mean,
than
it
that?
9
depends. Like
fragments.
it depends. Like you need to do fusion to sacrifice for the mode. Like you need to do like that. You need to collect 100 fragment, then you need to sacrifice. I mean, basically, picture what you're saying actually. Like you can do like that. Like you can just sacrifice your fusion for her. It's basically
Right, but then you have
simple.
to use all your resources to do the fusion to sacrifice into her. I mean, I don't know if that's worth it. Where if you can just pull
Exactly.
shards and get
Exactly.
epics.
That's not worth. She's not that worth it. That's
Right,
what
but
I'm
you can
saying.
just use epics that you're getting as dupes and
Yeah.
then
Epic you
do
target.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you.
Yeah. So the epic. So I mean, when we getting the 400 epics, I guess that's not a bad idea. Is next one that we get for the 400 epics, we would just change it in, because what do we get for an exchange rate for the epics? I don't even know. I would have to. I'll have to take a look and see.
It's lower, but
It's
yeah.
Yeah,
lower?
it is less.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like the shard raid system in raid it's just crazy. I get Plarium's art design team is off the charts with what they design. I just think, $200 for what is it, 250 for a legendary champion, 400 for a void, and 1,000 for a mythical is just absurd. The rates need to change. And maybe it's just not that we get a 2x, maybe it's just that we get like a 4x or a 5x chance, especially on primals, because that's just killer. But we pray that they'll change something, and either that or just bring the prices down, because goddamn, pulling what is it, $50, right? Because if you pull a 10 pop of primals, it's $50 and you get all rares. Just worst feeling ever. All right. So are you guys excited for this fusion? Are you guys ready? Because I think we've got a content creator here that says she's better than Crixia. And I'm really concerned because I just pulled my dupe Crixia and I don't know if I should build her. So, Lord Entertainer Fabian. Now, he's got the whole motif of like Armand's look type of situation. I don't know. Do you guys see that, Ken? You think he looks kind of like Armand's?
Yeah, both of them looks like shit.
Okay. Gaston, what about you?
He's like his uncle or something.
Armand's uncle. Okay. Chat, what do you guys think? Is he close to Armand's? I mean, Esme, we figured was going to be Armand's partner, but I mean, this guy kind of plays off the same vibe. PJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I see a similar vibe to Armand's, definitely. I can see it.
Okay. I mean, he is undead, right? So he could have just been Armand's dead and transformed into this. But Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, probably someone was like, "Oh man, everyone keeps talking about Armand's and nerfing him. Let's just bring him back." Like from
Let's
a dead
kill him and
version,
bring
you
him
know?
back.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. He's been Armand's has been killed thanks to Ken, and he's been reborn into a Lord Entertainer Fabian. All right, so I want to start with this guy backwards. I want to start from the passive going to the A1s, because I think his skill kit is interesting. I'm just not a huge fan of the fear mechanics, right? So let's start with the passive, and then it'll help us understand a little bit more on the A2s and the A3s. So Ghost with the most. All right, whenever an enemy is revived, places a True Fear debuff on that enemy for 2 turns. Now, I do believe he is one of 3 champions that places a True Fear for 2 turns. If multiple champions are on the same team, only one will activate. And then removes any stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, and petrification debuffs from this champion before the start of the turn. I like the passive. I like the second part of the passive. I feel like 6 years raid, the perfect one for this would have been, let's add sheep so that way Armands can, be countered. I'm not a big fan of the fear though, right? The fear mechanic, I feel it works against you, doesn't work for you. Because it always procs on me and never procs on my opponent. And then I guess Ken, tell me why he's so much better than Crixia.
I mean, the reason I set that for the A3 skill, not the passive or any other skill, so we can discuss that when we reach the A3. Passive skill is very cool actually. Not super strong first part like True Fear. I won't count the True Fear, guys. I won't. But the second part, remove any stance, basically any CC ability beside the block active skill, is removing them. It's very strong passive skill, not really fitting with him too. He's more like speed champion, and if you start first, if you got a turn first, probably he's not gonna see the stun freeze or whatever himself. But yeah, very strong passive skill. I wish we can see this passive skill something more like go second champion,
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, there is no
Hold on.
no cooldown on this, so it's an every turn thing. It's always going to happen, no matter how many revives are out there, right? Gessel, what about you? What are you thinking on the passive?
The true fear is annoying. I see that being more like a detriment than actually being positive, especially with polymorph. Although polymorph isn't necessarily as prevalent. Like I think about Taurus when anytime he loads into a freaking match and is like immediately CC'd or Gizmack guaranteed CC'd, loading into a match because of their passives with stuff like this on it. It's very frustrating. And True Fear is like 50% chance that it's gonna happen. So like it's not even that great. Like I'd rather just not have it, frankly.
Right. I think maybe if they buffed True Fear, it could be a little more impactful and better.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
great. It is great, but if polymorph didn't exist, I would love True Fear. But polymorph exists, and that just makes like any where you're just throwing out any kind of debuff that's not necessarily going to pay off. I'd just rather not have it because I'd rather just not have that chance of getting polyed. So that's my feeling on that. But like what Kampashi said, the second part of that is great. Um, I'd love to have that on a lot of other champs. Maybe not necessarily this guy. That like this is much more for like a drawn out battle. So if you kind of get if like the whole go first thing doesn't work, this will definitely pay off as like a battle would progress. But uh, you know, uh, it doesn't necessarily fit his kit.
okay. Rosaria says here, hot take, polymorph is not a big problem in the lower tiers of arena for most players. You are right. I think one of my accounts that I've
I'm
been
just
really
talking from
playing.
my perspective, giving you my perspective. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying
No.
it's not good.
Most lower elos aren't using polymorph as much unless it's like the 6-star blessing. They're using, just mostly because I don't think a lot of them know how to play. But they're using like cruelty and stuff like that. So, Jay, what do you think about the passive, man?
Really good. If he's not CC, then he can keep using, of course, his A3 and his A2. You don't want him to be controlled because the whole point is that he's supposed to control people. So that's really nice that that's there. You don't have to bring in like, someone like a cleanser, like a Kaja or Ancora, or even a High Mother mod. You don't have to worry about bringing anyone like that. He's always going to be making sure he's not controlled. And the other part is interesting because True Fear is a niche thing, right? It's kind of like when bombs were niche, right? It looks like Plarium is trying to push for more True Fear, Timid, Fortis, and now like this champion. And if you think about it, this champion actually is a 3 champions in one. He's Alice, Timid the Fool, and he's also Skeletor all in one. So it is very interesting to finally have a champion.
Wait, the last 3 champions that we got for free, we're gonna get into one fusion. All the more reason why I shouldn't do it. Go ahead.
But yeah, I like the passive. I like there's no cooldown, and I like there's synergy with the True Fear. If they do use a skill, they get petrified, and petrified removes protected buffs. So that is really good in PvP.
Yeah. Chat, what do you guys think? Would, making it a whole team cleanse like Tuhanarok would be too powerful? I don't think it would, and I think it'd give him a little more benefit in other areas of the game. PJ, what do you think?
Him not being able to be CC'd or hard CC'd is really, really nice. Like everyone kind of mentioned, he's supposed to be the one controlling them, not getting controlled, so that is awesome. Yeah, in the upper ends of Arena, he could definitely be a sheet magnet, just looking at the rest of his kit along with the passive. I will say that Poly has become a little bit less prevalent, especially now with like the Wanda submission and other relics coming out. If you have Wanda submission on him, that would be really nice, try to reflect the sheet back. But overall, it's pretty strong. True Fear is a very interesting mechanic because when it works, it's super, super strong, but when it doesn't do anything. So it's a big gamble, but when the True Fear is proc, they can really mess up your team and just make you not do any moves and Yeah, really wreck you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, again, I feel like it's good. I'm just not like the first part of the passive where, true fear is placed on a revive. I feel like if they just got rid of that and then just made it so that he cleanses everything, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. Let's take a look at the A3. Attacks all enemies before attacking, has a 75% chance, books up to 100% of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 3 turns. So we're decreasing the duration, we're not stripping, which means we're not getting polymorphed. Has a 75% chance, books up to 100 of increasing the cooldown of all enemy skills by 3 turns. And then grants an extra turn if there are no buffs on the enemy team after this attack. I think the only counter to this is protected buffs. So it plays a big emphasis or a bigger role now for, protection sets in Arena. But Ken, what are you, why is he better than my Crixia?
I mean, first of all, protection set not going to protect you if this champion going first. So that's the thing.
Stone Skin,
Second
shield
part-
buffs, bolster
shield
sets,
buff?
bolster sets.
What? Use the Narcissus.
Yeah, well, you're gonna bring him in. You're giving an if
I mean,
situation
he's
here.
not going to be alone against you. Like, like you are going to be with him. There's lots of champion ignore shield as well. So why he's better than Crixia? If we talk about A3 skill, Crixia A3 guys attack enemy. Like maybe you are going to say like this also attack enemy, but second part of the skill saying before attacking. So before attacking, he's going to make the buff duration decrease effect, which is not going to make you ship. Crixia is removing the buff, which is going to make her ship. Second part can be weak attack, increasing cooldown of their skill, both apply to the Crixia. So second part are the same. So first part is way better than Crixia. And if you successfully remove every single buff on the enemies, then extra turn, which is also bonus that Crixia doesn't have. That's why I said like it's better than Crixia, which is most people doesn't have a Crixia obviously. And this fusion going to help them a lot. And I feel like, I don't know what about you guys, but I opened lots of the primal shard this weekend. I also see lots of people jumping my stream and saying like what they pull. Lots of people pull Crixia, man, just before him.
I
Like,
I
you
can
have no
confirm that
idea.
apparently.
You have no idea.
I
And we
can
was making
confirm
fun
that.
like, yeah, just before they get a better version of her. I'm just joking, of course. Like I prefer Crixia over him because Crixia can be go second champion as well. Like he's just speed champion, and you guys know me. I don't like speed. I don't play speed, so
We got a comment here for you from Darn who says if Armand goes first, he's not going to protect you. This guy's not going to protect you. So I guess we're back into who's faster, right?
I
Uh,
mean, yeah,
With that is you force him to A3 which instead of A2ing, so you kind of mess up his skill, like the way his order of the skills goes. Like if you're sheeping if you're using Armand, you're sheeping A3 first, and you're not getting the extra turn with the A2. So like, it kind of can.
I've seen
change
because
things.
there's a lot of stone skin going on. I've seen Armands, especially in arena, opening up with the sheep over the
Right, you
to
can definitely
decrease.
do that, but it
Um,
changes how he works a little bit.
But this guy's also, you got to run him in intercept or in pinpoint.
Okay,
I would say
so
9-piece, honestly.
let's
So-
see what you have to say a little
can I
more
say
on
one
it.
more thing?
Go ahead.
Armans against him, you guys said, but some people doesn't have Armans. I have it, but I'm not using him. And to be honest, like I know what I'm going to see in the future when this fusion releases it. Him, Armans, Odin against me. That's what I'm going to see.
I've seen
I need a
some
therapy.
accounts
I
that
need a
have
therapy.
2 unique therapy sets. All right, Gelsel, what about you? What are you thinking about the A3?
I actually, when I kind of went through it, I compared the A3 a bit more to Marius, at least the first part. Whereas Marius is triple hitting to decrease the duration of the enemy buffs, you're getting one shot at doing it. So A, that means your accuracy's got to be high. B, that means you can't weak hit on any of them, although Marius is void, but regardless. So that I actually feel like is a step down. I like the Marius one better. He's void, whatever. He's significantly. Marius is, like I said, maybe the best champ in the game. Now the cooldown side of it is awesome, and then the extra turn side of it. If there's nothing left, I feel like it's pretty unlikely, especially if you're using this first. You're probably hitting Stone Skin. You're 50-50 in that, so you're probably not going to get Stone Skins. So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I like it. I can definitely see people are going to be running this guy a ton solely based off this ability and the A2. But like, I guess a lot of people were comparing him to Armand's, and like, I was like, I don't see Armand's here at all. Like, this doesn't look like Armand's to me. This almost is more like to me, is almost more like a Marius.
Okay. Now he doesn't hit hard, so comparing him to Marius might be just a tad step higher.
Well, I know plenty of people that run him. I mean, 4-0 runs Marius super fast, high
Holy
act,
shit.
like 0 damage. So like, and that's how I picture this, right? Like, you're going to be running him super fast, high act. That's how I'm comparing it.
Yeah, let's talk on that for a second, because the first time I went up against 4-0, he had Marius. His Marius was at like 430 speed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second, what did I miss here? What did I miss here? I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I run him as a buff stripper. I'm like, what? Why would you? Oh my God. He's like, well, I get 3 chances at stripping it. It's a good idea, but he's got no damage. It's crazy.
Yeah. But that's how I see this, I guess.
Okay.
Because you're solely looking for the strip. Like, obviously, you're not building for damage.
Right. Zach over on the YouTube side brings out a great point on him being a spirit champion and going up against Armand's. You're gonna have, especially a lot of like sick friends and stuff like that. You're gonna have the affinity issue, right? So, PJ, what about you? What are you thinking about the A3, bro?
Kind of like Gesto said, when I first saw it, I kind of thought of Armand's, not because of the damage, but just because of the 3 turn decreased duration of the enemy buffs. Like he also mentioned, I like Marius a lot better because he's hitting 3 times, so each chance has a 50% chance. I think if they have Stone Skin, has a 50% chance of removing it, where this is a 1 hit, so you're only getting the chance to proc once versus like the 3 times, so you're gonna have a less likely chance of removing it. And then the weak hits, I do the extra turn is really nice. It's kind of like a bonus. It could bring back, like you guys mentioned, bolster a little bit, or other protected buffs. Obviously, there's Narcissus and people that ignore his shield, but you don't know that he has bolster going into the fight, so he could catch you off guard. But generally, I think it's a pretty strong ability. You can't weak hit the enemy buff decrease duration, which is really nice because it's before attacking. You can weak hit the lockout. But overall, I think it's a pretty strong move, and especially if you can get the extra turn, then you can really start snowballing this dude.
Yeah. Stone Skin is kind of one of the bigger things here. Like, if it was 100% chance to remove Stone Skin, I'd be all over that. Jay, what about you?
Yeah. So this is basically a Spirit Affinity Timid and Alice, right? They both lock out. Timid reduces by 3 turns before even what's his name? Marius came out, right? Yeah, Marius is better because he has multiple chance to hits, of course, but he's void Lego and he takes a while to get. For most players, it's going to be insane, right? Like, if it doesn't matter if you're early, mid, or even some late to end game players should look into getting this champion. They might run a 5-star soul for him, so potentially there's a chance to get higher axe, which is important because of his A3 and A2. I think he's going to be. It's just a good champion in general. Yeah, there's weak hits, of course. That's just what you got to deal with affinity champions. Some people were coming up with some cooking. I heard some people talk in different chats about bringing back like a affinity breaker just for him and trying to build like fast speed versions of that. Which good luck if you try, you want to do that. But yeah, this is one of those champions where you're gonna kind of like put them on the same par. Like, do you want to lock them out and strip their buffs, or do you want to Armon stun them and sheep? You could run them together, or you could run them second. Because what most people are gonna, let's be honest, most people are gonna first pick Armons. So if you can't first pick him because they went first, well, now you have another option. Yes, he's gonna have a chance to weaken him, but I just like the fact that you get a lockout and you get to strip buffs. Timid can't do that. Timid literally just tries to do damage, doesn't have enough multis, right? I go first with most of my champions. I use Kaimar, Lady Mikage. I try to just strip their stone skin and then burst them down. So this is going to be an interesting champion for me because I'll be able to go, well, if I don't get that stone skin off you and I can't blow you off, well then I can at least lock you down, so I can at least get enough time to destroy, win the fight. So I think he's going to be pretty good, amazing for Curse City, amazing for PvE, and he's going to be an interesting champion for PvP.
Okay. I'm reading chat here, and everybody's like, some people are like, he's absolutely hot trash. Some people are like, yeah, well, Armand's can do what he's doing, except better. For instance, Armand's can remove all the buffs by just polymorphing somebody and removing it on the whole team. So let's take a look at the A2. Attacks one enemy, places a petrification debuff for 1 turn, has a 75% chance, books up to 100, of placing a True Fear debuff for 2 turns on all other enemies who are not under Fear or True Fear. There's a passive effect on the skill. Activates this whenever an enemy under Fear or True Fear debuff successfully uses a skill. Only one champion will be able to use this at a time. I like this because it makes me feel like we're trying to hard CC everybody on the opponent's team. I don't like it because we're going to be polymorphed. I feel like the best part about this skill, if it was changed, is that the True Fear would be protected. But chat, let me know where do you guys stand on the A2? And Ken, what are we thinking? A2?
A2 actually extremely strong. It's going to make him ship magnet, that for sure. But if you bring another True Fear champion, I'm thinking another
Fortis.
True Fear. Who?
Fortis.
Fardis.
Is he finally good?
Wait,
No.
the queen, the one that we just had.
Oh, the Queen of the Hearts.
Queen of Hearts,
my
yeah.
God. Yeah, she can fit actually. She can really fit actually. So every time enemy got a successfully turn, which is they are going to get a lockout from him, but still they are going to get a turn, right? Like if they're able to even use their A1 skill, he's going to counterattack them with the Purification.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Use the skill. No, it's saying use the skill, my bad. Not the default skill. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it has to be the A2 or the A3.
Okay, that's weird too. Like because he's gonna look at them, right? Unless we attack. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, very strong skill, guys.
Where do you stand with the A2 Gestel?
Yeah, actually, I love this ability. Petrification is crazy strong. It's a lockout, but not only is it a lockout, you remove everything when it lands. Obviously, you got the 50-50 with the stone skin. But it is super strong. They miss a turn, and then they're more susceptible to like bombs. So I actually really like this, and the fact that it's gonna like the best part about True Fear is when it procs, right? Because not only are they skipping the turn, but it's putting that skill on cooldown. What could be better if that thing doesn't fire? Then boom, you're getting petrified. Like that's worse, or almost worse. It might not be as bad, but that's gonna trigger that. Like every time it doesn't fire, then bam, you're petrified. Obviously, right at the beginning of the fight, that might not happen. But again, if this is a more drawn out fight, like that's going to be going off all the time as long as he doesn't get polyed. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like you need all the intercepts you can get on this guy because it could be frocking a lot. But I
Including
love
again, by
this
the way.
ability. I
I,
think this is the one I was like, man, this like an A3 is cool, and it's real is nice, but I feel like that could be a problem in certain instances, especially with Stone Skin. When I read this ability, then I was like, man, this is pretty sick. So I like
yeah,
it.
I hear you, and I like it. It's pretty good. I just feel like if it was just because once it gets cleansed, then it does nothing for you, right? You got to wait back to that 3-turn cooldown to try to get it back down. So I feel like protected, even if it was just a 1 turn, as long as it was protected, I feel like it might just be a little
Yeah,
bit better.
protected would certainly be better. Yeah, like if there was something that made it a little bit beefier. I'm just saying, like in theory, it's great.
Right.
It's not going to play out perfectly, but in
With,
theory, it's a great ability.
without polymorph, this would be absolutely, better
Exactly.
than better than Armand's. And this could have been better than Armand's. But yeah. PJ, what about you, man? What do you think?
I think it's a pretty solid skill. When I first saw the True Fear, I was really hoping he'd be some way usable in Chimera, because I feel like we don't really have that many good answers to that. But the way that his kit reads, it looks like it's kind of like the Romantu, where it's going to put the True Fear on everyone else but the initial target, so it's not going to work for Chimera, which kind of sucks. But for PvP and like wave content and PvE, this is very, very strong. It's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you take your turn, then he's gonna petrify you and then fear you. And if you don't take your turn, then you're getting locked out pretty much. You're losing your turn and the skill goes on cooldown. I like that they're also adding more petrification into the game. There's not really that many champions that have petrification or do that. It's like Mithril, and there might be like 1 or 2 other champions maybe, but it's pretty slim. So it's cool that they're adding more of that into the game. I like that. But overall, I think this is a very strong move. I like that. It's like they take the turn, they get screwed, and that they don't take the turn, they get feared. They're also getting screwed. That's a cool move.
Okay. Hazard, I like this. I think there's a very good possibility that Pirates is going to be the next faction. They've been pushing that kind of genre lately, or that kind of motif. Jay, what about you? What are you thinking about the A2?
Yeah, it's really good. It synergizes with his kit because most of the time you can't really go second with him. You can't build like a high resist like Crixie and try to like, oh, you're gonna lock me out. Never mind, I just reset my champions and then I just come back. This you have to go first. It's like a warlord. So you're gonna go first. You're gonna remove their buffs. You're gonna lock them out with the A3. If you get lucky and they remove all their buffs, you'll get an extra turn. And you're like, like you were saying, worried about that cleanser. Well, I tried to lock out that cleanser. Let's say it resists, or let's say it's Armand's, and you've removed his Stone Skin and he was going fast in Stone Skin. Well, yeah, there's still the weak hit. You didn't lock him out, so you're like, okay, well, he's gonna go stun all my champions, and I'm gonna be cleanse it because of my passive. But I don't want to get my other champion stunned. You can try again. Once again, take another chance to petrify the Armands so he can't do what he needs to do, right? So he's going to be an interesting champion, of course, to go first, and his A2 synergizes with the rest of his kit. If, right, you activate the A2 and then it puts the True Fear, like Gessel was saying, everybody else, then you're also stunning them in a sense. They lose their turn, and then on top of that, they get locked out to max on that skill. So he's locking out with the A3, and then all these True Fears are locking out everyone. Like, I could just understand, like, I see some matches going horribly wrong because I've used Timid. I'm one of the best Timid's players. But then some matches, if you're the opponent, imagine, like, you can't take no turn. You're getting locked out like crazy. Put Armor with him, bro, it's cancer, in my opinion. I would just leave, honestly.
Jay's thinking, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to be as CC hard as possible. I'm going to throw in Sifi on top of that. And then, you know what? Why not? Let's just throw in Lady Mikage, just pure CC, make the guy hit himself. Real quick, I didn't do this earlier, but make sure you guys are following Bronco over on YouTube. I should have done it, but we were in the heat of the discussion. Chat, the link is in there right now. Give him a follow over on YouTube and show him some love. Go watch that shard pool video he did because he needs the help on that one. All right, let's take a look at the A1. Now, the A1, I mean, part of it makes sense. The other part, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. So attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit steals 10% of the target's turn meter. Now, I'm guessing the way I'm reading this, it's going to be 100% of the time, right? Because there is no percentage wise. So we're going to be able to kind of work like, I think it's Yumiko, right? On her A1. Turn meter places a true fear for 2 turns if the target's turn meter is fully depleted. Now, I don't think there's going to be a likelihood that you're going to fully deplete somebody's turn meter. So the second part of the skill kit, I'm not a big fan of. But the first part I really like. Ken, what are you thinking?
I mean, very strong skill. Like, I mean, like a Yumeko you mentioned, it's 100% chance, 10% for each hit, so 20% in total. And if you fully depleted their turn meter, true fear debuff, maybe if you don't want to get a ship, you need to be careful about your targeting, about that ability. It's like you cannot use the Yumeko against the Marius, Yumeko A1, I mean. Yeah. Same for here, actually. You also cannot use this ability against the Marius. Yeah. Good, solid. A1 skill, man.
This is going to stack up with, I think it's Evil Eye. So you'll be able to steal the turn meter and then push back the turn meter. So I think it's like a total of 25%. But then I wonder how that plays, whether it's stealing the turn meter first and then you push back their turn meter with Evil Eye. I don't know if how that's gonna work out, but
Rocket.
Gessel, what are you thinking about the A1, man?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Like Kampachi said, definitely don't attack Marius with it. You kind of would. It gives you a little kind of wiggle room, right? Like if someone just took a turn, they don't have poly, you attack them, put the true fear on them. Let's say it's someone that has poly, then maybe you avoid them. Or if it's someone with poly that has high turn meter, then it doesn't matter. You can set them back a little bit. So it gives you a couple options, which honestly most A1s don't. So definitely a great A1 then.
I feel like this would be targeted mostly towards like nukers, right? Because nukers, unless it's a 6-star, tend not to really use polymorph. So I think the A1 would be primarily just for nukers. PJ, what about you?
Solid A1. I like the first part a lot. The steal is huge, not just depleting, the stealing. So he's gaining 20% and he's pushing them down 20%. Like you said, I wouldn't really rely on the second half. I don't think often he's going to be fully depleting the turn meter of someone unless you get like lucky and you can see that, okay, they have 15%, I'll do this one. But generally, I don't think it's going to be that often where you can get the fully depleted. If you can, then obviously try. But the first part I think is really good. Just a 2-hitter, stealing 20% total. A1 is nice.
Yeah. And we should say that you are going to require accuracy on this, so there's going to be an accuracy check on it as well. Jay, what about you? What are you thinking about the A1?
I love the first part. It just synergizes with his whole kit, right? He wants to get extra turns. He wants to go faster. So of course you're gonna bring increased speed in that team with him, right? Like a Siffy to go first. The second part I don't understand. He doesn't do anything unless you bring Armons, right? That steals turn meter, and they resist the stun or stun doesn't work. Let's say Narcissus, because Encore is there and he's immune to stun. This could help you like keep him, reduce the turn meter more. But in general, like it should have been the opposite. Why not be when it's not depleted? Right? So that way you keep that true fear on the enemies you're targeting, which when then synergize with the A2. Oh, they took a turn? Petrified. Oh, I killed everybody and their Mariska bring everybody back. Everyone's true feared. Oh, wait, people are all getting locked out and I didn't have to use my A3. Or what if someone did get a user turn? I finally got a turn. Let me lock them out with my A3. So like I think it would have been reverse on the A1 would have been way better. I see what they were trying to do there, but it's just he doesn't have any, like his A3 doesn't reduce turn meter by 50% or something like a Vlad, or like it doesn't. I don't know. I think it should have been the other way around. It's still nice to have it there, but it's synergizing why it's kind of weird.
The only thing I will say about that is I remember a certain content creator that got basically demolished by a crit cap Armands. Imagine that with this guy never getting to go. I'm looking at the content creator to see if they were getting any sort of reaction from him, but it doesn't look like it.
I'm not
Trying to
wasting my
hide.
time on this champion anymore. I just give up, man.
He's
I'm
like,
gonna
"Oh."
leave on his back.
All right, so let's the aura comes in strong, 19% all battles, love to see it, love to see more of these, so 100%. Let's talk about should the community do this and which players are going to benefit from going for this. Ken, what do you think?
Yes, I recommend people try to get this champion. Look, I'm not gonna build this champion on my account unless Pilgrims force me, like content for the content, because he's not fitting my playstyle. But I still going to get him, even I'm super low on the resources, because I don't know, man. Maybe my speed will rise in the future. I can do like speed team. This champion is super strong, and I don't want to miss him. Player. Mm, I don't think the champion good on the early game. I think he's also not that good on the PvE. Just PvP champion, probably like late game. So like maybe early game, if you don't care about PvP, if you are low on the resources, you can consider skipping him. But if you have resources, I still recommend it to try to get him.
Okay. PJ, what about you?
I was gonna be sarcastic and say no one should go for this. Don't do it. You're gonna easily skippable. But no, realistically, yeah, I think
Yeah, you're going to be the
everyone
one
should-
that gets them in arena and then be like, huh, I was just messing with you guys.
Exactly. We want the opposite of our mons. We want no one to get him, so he won't ruin anything. But yeah, realistically, I kind of disagree with Ken. I think he would be good in PvE. I think if you're early game and you don't have a good way of clearing waves or like controlling them, he's gonna be able to lock them out, fear them, like Doom Tower, stuff like that will be a lot easier if you don't have an Armands or someone to help you with that. But yeah, he's too interesting to skip in my opinion. I think that maybe they're trying to push more petrification, true fear down the line. Maybe there'll be some type of sets or something in the future that will make him even stronger. I think someone in chat mentioned that. But yeah, I think he's pretty unique and overall good. I don't think he should be skipped if possible.
Okay.
I mean, definitely everyone should skip him. No one go for him.
Make sure you guys go over on YouTube and unsubscribe from PJ just so
Trying to make
no,
Arena
no.
better. I'm trying to help you guys.
Joking right there. Gessel, what about you, man? What do you think?
I'm going for him on both accounts. I'm excited to have him on both accounts. I would say one of the fusions, more recent fusions that seems to be like really worth going for. I do agree with Ken that maybe he's not necessarily someone you have to have. I think I'm excited about him because of the possibilities in Live Arena. But I see my free to play using him more than pretty much, I don't know, like any fusion over the last 6 or 7 months that I've gotten. So I'm excited to get him on that account as well.
I have to agree. I think over the last 6 and 7 months, he's probably been one of the better fusions. I can't think of one that I'm like, definitely.
Noel's solid, but before that.
Hold on. What's his name? The poison guy that we had. That was actually a pretty good fusion. Stock, yes. Yeah. Stock was a pretty good fusion. Jay, what about you?
Stock the Broken. Come on. You can't remember his name. He's broken.
Nope. He's a Vault Guardian for me right now.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend. I mean, as a Timid lover who built out Timid, Skeletor maxed out, fully booked, and Alice the Wanderer fully booked. It's all three in one character. I'm going to go for this champion, and I would recommend everyone to if you're progressing mid game, late game, and of course, even if you're end game, there might be some fights in Siege if you don't want to do it in Live Arena because you don't think it's good enough. I still see this champion viable in PvP, just in different content.
Okay.
Aura as well, by the way, Jay. All battle.
Oh yeah, and it works all battles exactly. So
Yeah.
you know, speed battles don't work in Siege yet.
Well, yeah. Arenas used to work. Now they don't work anymore. I'm gonna agree with Ken. He's definitely gonna be beneficial for PvE. I could see him putting a lot of work in for, progression stuff. Arena was just the whole fear and procking polymorph. I mean, as long as I've got like a 9-piece polymorph, I'll go for it. But I feel like if we had just maybe, you know what? I would go with give him 1 stack of intercept instead of places of true fear on the champion that is revived. Give him 1 stack of true fear every turn. I would say that this would be a good fusion. Let's go 100%. I would urge everybody to. But overall, I think he's definitely still good. I will be getting him, putting him in my vault, play testing him just a little bit. But unless we get something crazy with fear or true fear, I don't anticipate myself using him anywhere else. That said, I do expect him to be very difficult, as Armand's was, and it could be interesting.
Isn't Armand's easy?
Armaz was easy.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't.
We
I
thought
don't
it was
thi-
gonna be hard, but I thought it was easy.
I don't.
It
I
was a
don't know.
Titan event.
Was
I
it?
can't-
Was
I can
it?
send you his fusion.
At least it was easier
Okay.
than like I thought we expected it to be, compared to his kit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe because he did seem very broken when we saw him. So I thought I felt like it was a little more difficult. Not as bad as the last fusion that we had. I think what was it, Esme, that was back-to-back champ or dungeon
I
diver
sent you the-
stuff.
If you want
But
to check.
let's see here. Yeah. So this was the Armands. I guess it wasn't as
It's a
bad.
fragment fusion, by the way.
Yeah, that's true too. Oh,
This is my
that's why.
classic.
This is why Armand's I did not like, was because he had the hero's path locking in
Yeah.
the 50, and then that was the time where we were all like, well, we'll skip the hero's path, but then they ended up putting the what was it that they put in the points, and we had to go for the hero's path for the points.
Titan point.
Yeah, for the Titan points. So that's why I felt like it was a little difficult, but hopefully they don't do that, or be prepared, guys. They may just do that again.
I mean, it's gonna be classic fusion, so but yeah.
So I do want to, before we leave off, let's talk a little bit about the new patch that's coming in next week. We're gonna dive a better in next week, but Ken has an issue with multi battles running in the background. I agree with you. I feel like the multi-battle scenario should be, just let me run those multi-battles when I'm not online. I feel like if they had just done that, it would have been so much better. But the way that they're going to do it, it really doesn't do anything. It's like setting up RSL helper and walking away. I'm not going to do much of anything else. But Ken, go ahead. Let's hear again what you want to rage about.
And multi-battle. I mean, they say it, by the way, it's beta test or stuff like this, so there is still hope they can make it better. But currently, multi-battle doing nothing. Like, instead of watching your fight, we are not watching your fight. We are just watching your main screen, Bastion. Because you cannot do anything else.
Yep.
You can training your champion, you can change your gear, but not champion from multi-battle. If you have a Marius on the multi-battle, you cannot regear him. You can open your shard. You can buy something on the market or the shop, but you cannot do any other activity on the game. Like, you cannot do arena fight, doesn't matter which one. You cannot do Columbus fight, doesn't matter which one. You cannot do Kirsty, Doom Tower, Dungeon, Faction Mode. You cannot do any one of them when the background fight at the progress. You need to finish background fight. You need to wait your background fight to be finished. And after that, you can do whatever your stuff. You also cannot quit the game during the background fight. It's give you warning.
I just want to tell everybody, wait to see what happens with CVC. You're going to have people running 300-400 multi-battles in the background and leveling gear at the same time. Crafting gear at the same time. It's going to...
They can do that.
CVC is going to be an absolute nightmare now for anybody who cares. But yeah, it's going to be, you know, you'll be able to level your gear and whatnot. So I guess you could do two things at one time, having RSL helper level your gear for you while you're going at it. But yeah. Gessel, what are you thinking about the multi-battles, man? I know they, you know, Chad is letting us know that they're going to be working a little more on it, but...
Yeah, if this is like a first step, whatever, I'm fine with it. It is useless, like, whatever. But if it is a first step into kind of being able to run them while you're doing live arena or even doing the same dungeon or something, like, I think that that would certainly be amazing.
You know, I feel like it would have been better to just do instant battle as long as you have the multi-battles available. So instead of just saying, you know what, I've got 2,000 multi-battles, just run all 1,500 of these and, you know, give me the gear. I think that would be better. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, this is something I've been wanting. As someone who gets, you know, plays on a lot of other people's accounts, like over 400 now. That's pretty much what I do. Is I just help people, and having this is gonna be nice. I think it's something to do. Like I can still talk about something else raid related, or maybe watch someone else's video and have it run in the background. Some people cannot, unfortunately, cannot use these certain apps or other programs because they're either only mobile players or they don't have good PCs, etc., etc. Like myself, I still don't even use RSL Helper. So this will be pretty. I have used it, but I don't use it as much. And this is gonna be nice, man. Especially, I'm still gonna, you know, get other options like, you know, in-game players like ourselves or content creators. We have other people do things with us. But I think this is gonna be definitely interesting. I want to see it grow and become what they actually push towards, because a lot of games are auto loot battles, right? Like you just get auto chests, or other games are just like you play a little bit and then get off. Having raid be optimized to where you can like multi-do things all at once is like a dream. It's something we've always wanted since like day one. So it's kind of like this might be the hurdle to get to where we want to, and I think it's, you know, positively, I think hopefully they do it right, because usually their implementation is bad. So I'm just being optimistic, and hopefully it turns out good.
Okay. Real quick here, big shout out to DK, who posted his very first YouTube video. It's a shard pull video. Make sure you guys go give him a like and a follow over on YouTube. It was. PJ, what about you, man? What do you think?
If I'm happy that they're trying something, if this is all that they're gonna do and leave it, which I don't think they're gonna do, I think they're just like starting this and then gonna add on to it. I'm happy with that. If they're gonna leave it, I'm not happy. I feel like they're trying to see how the servers handle this. I'm sure it's gonna be a big load on the servers, having multi battles running in the background while doing other things. So I'm assuming they're trying to test and see before doing a huge push and then having it fail and then everyone be like, oh, what the fuck, you added this and it's not working. So at least it seems like they're trying to do a little bit like baby steps. It's kind of funny in the video that they are like, you can do all these things, like pull your shards and other things. It's like, not really. You can just pull your shards and do like a gear cleanse. But I think it's a good start, doing a gear cleanse, looking at your gearing champions while doing multi-battles is a good first step. But I just don't want it to end there. I want them to add more things in the game, be able to do arena multi-battle or the multi-battles, Doom Tower, you know, other things in the game as well. But I think it's a good first step.
Guys, I urge you, Ken says that this could work whenever you need to go pay your credit card bill or something. Just tell them that you can't do it because your server can't load.
I mean, like, are we seriously thinking this game server capacity low? And if so, why it is low?
That's true.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like, buy
like,
more.
How much? Like, we was talking about primal chart price, and
yeah,
people are pulling like a crazy. Come on, guys! Like, do simple mathematics.
That's
Either
true.
they are eating all the money without investing, or they are lying. Very simple. which is
It's-
I'm not spending money. It's you guys spend the money. So just ask
Well,
where they are spending your money.
I guess the question is do they have, is it like a server or is it like a crypto server where they're using everybody else's computer too, right?
I mean, bro, like we tell them where is merge system, why there is no merge system, like in-game counter. They said like their server cannot tell them. We
Yeah,
asking them more space, inventory space, like gear space. They are saying their
wait a
server
minute.
cannot handle.
No. I don't know if you guys noticed, but you got
You got
actually
100
an extra
extra.
100 extra gear spaces.
Ow!
You got an extra. No one talked about this, but we got they slid that right in there. We got an extra 100 this week. So yeah, that was, I was just kind of like shocked. I was like, wait, what?
This
But
is
yeah,
like the boat is sinking, and you get a band-aid, and you like put the little band-aid over this like ginormous hole that's just flowing through water. It's like, okay, here you go, we fixed it. It's like, did you?
Yeah.
They also
beca-
say the same stupid reason, right? Like what? Like the reason they are
Chimera
not fucking
Clash.
champion. They said like they don't have a developer team. What the hell, dude?
yeah.
Like too many
And
people
Chimera
work on
Clash
this.
takes 24 hours to load after it's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I
processing
really don't
results
understand
on
what
the
people say.
screen. Like this, the results are on the screen. It says processing
Yeah,
results.
one
Like,
more
what are we
thing,
processing?
Hydra recent changes, right?
Yeah.
So the reason they make the ele attack nerf, they blame the server capacity again. Bro, like
Couldn't handle the
potato server?
numbers.
Potato server? Like what is that? Hydra was working like over like
A year,
years,
what?
maybe.
2 years?
without problem, and recently it's become a problem. Is
I
that also
mean-
the reason why the game has a 6 to 9 bug, bro? Is that also the reason why the Corona Cube bug took them over 20 days to fix it?
I mean, who
Over
knows?
3 months to fix the Odin passive skill.
It could be. I mean, we all know that they prioritize things that are going to make them money before they start working on all that other stuff. But it's, you know, I get it. The server, like, they're making billions and billions of dollars. It might just be in some third world country where, you know, electricity can't work as much, so the server can't take as much power. Real quick, let's talk Supreme Gaelic being given out to new players. Are you for that or not for that, Ken?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
So there's a promo code to get a Supreme Gaelic for new players coming into Raid. Are you for it, not for it? Because he's actually a pretty good Hydra champ.
You can't get Monkey King either. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm totally fine, man. Like, I really don't mind what they are giving the early game player, you know? Even like they are getting mythical champion, I really don't care that much. Between the Wukong and the Supreme Garlic, if you ask in my perspective, I think I will go for the Supreme Garlic. There's a couple of reasons for that. Wukong, obviously, end game perspective, got the Arena champion, right? But on the early game, you cannot build Wukong. I mean, you can't. Like, you need to be a very strong gear to use the Wukong correctly, right? But Supreme Galek, in the other hand, early game can help you multiple places. Dragon, Spider, Hydra, you know. Also, Supreme Galek is the Void legendary champion, which is 7 months to trigger your mercy. Keep that on your mind. Monkey is still normal legendary champion. I know it's not that easy to pull the specific legendary, but at least it's easier to pull normal legendary compared to the Void Lego. If I just create an account, I will choose the Galek.
Okay. PJ?
Yeah, I don't have any issues with it. I know some people in my chat were kind of pissed. They're like, like where's my Gaelic? And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a free Supreme Gaelic, but they're trying to get new players to come into the game. He's a very solid champion. It's honestly, it's not an easy choice. I kind of agree with Kendall. I'd probably go with Gaelic as well. He's Void. He can help you a lot more early game with the dungeons. Ice Golem as well. He's really good. Easier to build, just speed, accuracy, some tankiness. You don't have to worry about like the crit rate, crit damage, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to build Wukong like that. But like Ken mentioned, if you really want to build Wukong, he takes a lot of stats.
Right.
A lot easier to build the Gaelic. I guess Wukong comes back to life. His passive's kind of nice, but generally I think Gaelic would probably be more helpful for you early on. But yeah, I don't see any issue with it. I think it's fine. I'm glad they're doing a good champion, honestly. Better than like Supreme Aethel, or they could have done someone different.
I
No shots
think
at Supreme 8th though. She's alright, but Gaelic
I,
definitely solid.
I think I like Supreme Kale better, honestly. No accuracy needed. I love that guy. I have him with a 6-star ascension. Love him. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, definitely Supreme Galek is crazy. Imagine coming to a new game and you have an insane Void Legendary that's going to carry you everywhere. Literally, he owns in almost every single dungeon except Fire Knight and maybe Shogun, maybe early Shogun, yes, but when you get further, of course not, unless you have a team around it. So he's amazing everywhere. Literally amazing for Ice Golem, amazing for Dragon, amazing for Iron Twins, amazing for Shogun, amazing for Minotaur, Potion Keeps, literally everything. So, and then as you transition from Clan Boss to Hydra to Chimera, he still continues to be amazing, and he's Void, so he never weak hits, right? Amazing. It sucks to lose that Wukong because I remember doing the free to play with Wukong in the Hell Hades challenge last year, and he's an insane champion, PvP and PvE. But yeah, Supreme Galek is just nuts. I'm surprised they would actually do that. They've always given out epics or legendaries, never a void legendary. So it is a good time to come in if if you've never played or get like someone else who's played and then they want to return with a new account. Maybe it's definitely a good opportunity to get yourself a really strong champion.
Okay. Gessel, what about you?
Definitely Supreme Gaelic. I've pulled 3 Void Legos on the free to play, and he's one of them. And he is on every team, man. He is a monster. He's so strong. He basically allows me to auto Brutal Hydra. I also got Shuzen, so 2 super good pulls. Visix was a 3rd, but 2 super good pulls there. Yeah, I would definitely go with him. Wukong is great. Wukong is super viable throughout, as is Supreme Gaelic. But I feel like endgame Wukong, you're pretty much just getting like an arena champ. You might be able to use him a little bit in like Hydra, but I don't feel like he's super as great there. Supreme Gaelic or Supreme Gaelic he's awesome.
All right, player. I know you're watching. Give the long-term players something too. I mean, I don't know. Be kind of nice to get. It'd be kind of nice for us to get something too. I get you want to reward new players, but reward the faithful ones too. Reward the ones that are spending $1,000 for a cock mythical, right? Yeah, we got Ninja. He says,
That's very expensive.
"Hey Ken, where can everybody come and find you, bro?"
Final Kenpachi, both Twitch and YouTube guys, we are streaming at the same time. I mean, both of the platform, we are streaming simultaneously. And we are going live on the Clan Boss Reset every single day, guys, except Sunday. Sunday, I'm taking time to touch some grass. So, thank you.
Just the
Nice.
IRL cock.
PJ, where can everybody come and find you?
MXPJE on Twitch and YouTube stream pretty much every single weekday, twice a day. Come say what's up.
Jay, what about you?
You can find me on YouTube and Twitch with one name, JRStar3.
And Gessel, where can people come and find you?
Yeah, Gessel Gaming on Twitch and on the YouTubes.
Awesome. Ken, what you got for a shout out for me?
I like to shout out the first of all Zero Group. He actually sent me a message. I forget to mention that. So he said, guys, go for this fusion, busted, like his game changer, stuff like that. He's very hype about the fusion. Just want to share his message there. And the second, Potato Jack, he's one of my viewers. He's actually giving me insane account for the giveaway, which is stay tuned for that. Potato appreciate for a game might do.
Ooh. PJ, what you got for a shout out?
All right, we're gonna give a shout out to other people. Give him a shout out before, but I haven't given one in a while. Mr. Airford too. He's an awesome dude. He's come on the podcast. He's a free to play player. I think he's 16 months into the game. I posted his Twitch link in chat. Definitely check him out. Give him a follow. Really good dude.
Okay. Gessel, what you got for a shout out?
I'm gonna give a shout out to my man Bone Plays TV. He's been doing a lot of raid streaming. He does some other stuff as well, but he's been doing a ton of raid the last, at least the last 6, 7, 8 months. Great streamer. Go over there, check him out. Bone Plays TV.
Okay. Jay, what you got for a shout out?
A new upcoming YouTuber under the name Demise Raid Shadow Legends.
Okay. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Being Useless, who's one of my Discord mods and Twitch mods and YouTube mods. He's kind of everywhere. Very active. I think I want to say in all of our communities when we stream. He had his birthday yesterday, so he wouldn't tell me how old he turned. But
21.
unfortunately, no, I think he's
He
a little
leveled
older. Yeah, he leveled up. But unfortunately, Plurium did not give him a really good birthday gift. So with that said, guys, it has been a phenomenal time. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Twitch side, we're gonna raid Bick over on Twitch. Unfortunately, YouTube, we can't raid anybody. Maybe we should get that, fixed. I don't know, somehow. Next week, will we be discussing the new patch coming in? We're gonna break everything down. We're gonna see what bugs there are and how many good things they're gonna come in with. Who knows exactly? But until then, guys, much love.